The General Staff reported 120 combat clashes yesterday, primarily in the Pokrovsk sector, where defense forces repelled 56 assaults. Russian forces also attacked the Kharkiv region, targeting Kupiansk and Volchansk. Conditions are also tough in the Zaporizhia region. In Kostiantynivka, Russians are attempting to breach and secure the city. In some places, infantry firefights are occurring in residential areas, yet this isn't the defenders' main concern. In the past few weeks, the Russians have almost paralyzed our logistics with drone attacks and remote mining. Now soldiers have to reach their positions on foot. They say they have to walk 10 to 15 kilometers now. Our war correspondent, Stanislav Kukarchuk, reports on the defense of Kostiantynivka, and at the same time support the team's fundraiser. Podrobitsy collects for drones for the 49th Separate Assault Brigade Carpathian Sich. Details are on your screen. Every approach to the positions of the Carpathian Sich battalion groups begins under the cover of darkness. Enemy disrupted logistics mean vehicles only reach the near rear. Then it's on foot, only at dawn, to see the way.
Copy.
Even though it's the rear, you still have to find cover quickly. In the cold, through the thermal imaging of an enemy drone, we appear as bright spots that immediately attract attention. Now, under reliable cover, we warm ourselves with hot coffee. In civilian life, Vadim worked as a bartender at a restaurant in the capital, so he always has a camping stove and aromatic drink with him.
This kind of coffee, you just want to drink it properly. Actually, if you really want to elevate your outdoor brewing experience and do it right, you could carry a portable, high-quality gas stove paired with a traditional and reliable geyser-style mocha pot coffee maker. That would be a really good way to ensure you enjoy a truly premium cup of coffee during your trip.
Although it's impossible to fully relax and enjoy the coffee. In what seemed to be our safe shelter, we find a Russian uniform. The soldiers say that even in the rear, encountering the enemy is no longer such a surprise.
Excuse me, do you happen to have any of the required documents with you right now? No, I am sorry, but I do not have any of those documents available at this moment.
Yes, there were some, I think, here.
Right now, the front line near Kostiantynivka is quite dynamic. Due to a severe shortage of personnel at our positions, there have been cases of enemy infantry making it into our rear. On the deep state map, it's clearly visible that Kostiantynivka itself is already in a massive pincer. Part of the city is a gray zone. At the neck of the salient is the village of Alexeyevo-Druskiska. It is precisely here that Russian groups are trying to break through in order to finally cut off the main road to Kostiantynivka.
Even though this specific location is considered a relative rear area, situated roughly 5 to 7 kilometers away from the active line of contact, the Russian forces simply do not leave the small village alone. Instead, they choose to constantly and relentlessly bombard the entire area with a devastating combination of heavy guided glide bombs, long-range tube artillery, and even highly precise kamikaze drones that haunt the skies day and night. There are a lot of them here.
Despite the constant shelling around the clock, there are still quite a few residents in Alexeyevka, Druzhkivka. Miss Valentina hadn't planned to leave until the very last moment, but after a Russian drone hit her house, she decided to finally leave her native village. The pensioner lost her belongings and 4 cats in the fire. Only her dog and a small suitcase remain.
Druzhkivka I go. I have acquaintances living there. Even if just for a couple of days. My fingers are swollen, my legs are swollen, I was running through the snow like a fool. Everything is swollen, at least they gave me some good medicine. It's terrible, guys, God forbid. I ask, why? Why? Tell me. Of course, those who have money, they've all left. But with my pension of 2,700, can I go anywhere?
The road from the village to Druzhkivka is long and dangerous. Enemy drones are everywhere, both in the sky and underfoot. The Russians are trying to keep all routes of communication under control.
And that is all there is to it.
Now we can come together, once again.
Well, the ones flying around aren't scary. The scary ones are those that are lying in wait, because you can't see them, and they spring out faster than you can react. Move. Go.
That's why all logistics to the positions are done on foot, or with the help of ground robots, although the Russians are actively hunting them too. The situation is even more difficult with the MOVID. They are evacuated from the front line by drones, or their comrades carry them out themselves. Most of the soldiers' injuries are caused by enemy drone strikes. Yeah, already some nice wounds. What happened?
Yeah, it fell targeting and...
What exactly is this mysterious object?
Yeah, well, it's just a scratch.
Stabilization point of the Carpathian Siege. As close to the front line as possible, so that the fighters can reach it from their positions on their own. There's a lot of work, says medic Nazar, and not just with injuries, but also with the effects of concussions. The pressure from the Russians on our defenders is just insane.
Repeated shelling, constant headaches, they're always nauseous, always feeling sick. Plus, let's also take into account, besides the physical and psycho-emotional stress, no matter how tough a soldier is, constant shelling in his sector, near his dugout, still takes a serious toll.
And the guys need to be brought back on their feet no matter what. There are very few people at the positions, and the enemy is constantly advancing. In this footage, a group of siege fighters enters to clear out occupying infantry in one of the residential neighborhoods of Kostiantynivka. These are the guys in Kostiantynivka right now. Are you together, Mortardy? Yes, one more time. Copy. Waiting for the numbers. Report every half hour. At moments like these, Roman is more focused than ever. Right now, the Russians in Kostiantynivka have changed their tactics and are trying to sneak deeper into our defenses in small groups. In this footage, you can see one of these Russian assault troops, whom the siege fighters managed to intercept on the outskirts of Konstantinivka. Our primary task is to detect these rats and eliminate them, or accordingly, take them prisoner. Often, we manage to do this right as they're approaching, while they're still on their way in. There have already been multiple attempts to drive in with vehicles, but thank God we've managed to handle it, despite the bad weather. And the siege fighters are assisted in this by reconnaissance drones, which, like people, need to be constantly replenished. Ask Kukarchuk, V. Romodan, O. Kukarski. Details on Intermarathon TV channel. United News.